Hello, I'm Dr. Mark Mao from Chiro Matchmakers. So excited to be with you once again, going through our pro tips on how to have an awesome, successful relationship with your associate doctor. Remember, this is a month long. I'm going to be bringing you 4 tips. This is all going to lead into a free webinar at the end of the month where I'm going to unpack this detail way deeper and really help you focus in on it. But just a click back. Last week, I discussed, number 1, how do you know when it's the right time to hire an associate? I clicked into the 5 criteria or questions that we had, and some of you reached out. I was super excited to get in touch with you, do individual breakdowns in how your office is practicing, and how your office is running, and what you're looking at next. So super excited to do that. So today, I want to take pro tip number 2, and I want to start to unpack that. The question you need to ask next is this: what are the critical questions to answer before you hire an associate doctor? What's the criteria, and why is this so crucial? A lot of doctors tell me all the time, and they don't know what that next step is, and they don't know exactly why they're looking at hiring an associate. They think they know, but they don't know until they answer, number 1, the first question for CERT. Number 1, what are you trying to accomplish by hiring an associate? Now, there's multiple different paths on this. There are a lot of docs that call us up, and what they're looking for is they're looking to increase the number of patients they're seeing. They're growing. They want to increase their capacity. There are other doctors that call us up, and they're looking for an exam doc. It takes a special doc that's going to come in and do exams and x-rays in your practice that will stay with you for a long time doing those things. But there are doctors that are built that way that love those things. There are also docs that are looking to reduce their exposure. What their exposure means is they're an owner-operator in their office doing it themselves. And you know what? If they have an injury, they are going to be exposed. And severe injuries can actually shut down a practice and maybe never be able to come back because of that. So they're looking at an associate to reduce their exposure. Is that you? Are you an individual solo practitioner that just wants somebody to come alongside of you to reduce your exposure to actually start to create a business instead of just one that's an owner-operator all on your shoulders, right? I would say a big one that doctors reach out to us for is they're looking for time freedom, right? You know, we get in our offices, and I was guilty of it, 30, 40, 50 hours, 60 hours, not even 30, but 50, 60 hours in the practice doing it all myself. And I was like, you know what? I need some time freedom. I have a family. I'm going to be able to start to focus on them and focus on other things inside the practice than the adjusting part or the training part or the day 1, day 2. So we need to be crystal clear on what you're trying to accomplish by adding a doctor. Number 2, what does success look like for you? What does success look like? Number 1, I'd ask you, what does success look like 12 months from now if you hire an associate? If you can't visualize what that looks like, if you can't tell me what the goals are, how are you supposed to relay that to your team and to the associate coming on board with you? I would say bigger picture is, what does next look like? What does 3 to 5 years look like? What are you trying to accomplish by bringing that doctor into your practice? In 3 to 5 years, what do you want them doing? Maybe you want them purchasing part of that practice. Maybe you want to add another associate at that point. But what does success look like now? And then what does success look like next? Answer that question. So important. Number 3, what do you want that doctor to do? Once again, doctors come in many different forms and shapes and sizes. And I'm going to be honest with you. Most doctors call me up and they're like, hey, doc, I want a mini-me. I'm going to tell you, a mini-me is probably not going to work for you, right? Because they're going to be doing it on their own. So what are you looking for this person to do? There are entrepreneurial docs. There are docs that probably built just like you are. There's some of you have multiple practices. There are some of you have one big practice. Some of you have really nice practices going on. You're an entrepreneur. Someone maybe is going to come alongside you, work with you for a while, but maybe they're going to do their own thing after they've worked with you for a while. But there are doctors that are out there, these caregivers, they just love patients. They just love taking care of patients. They'll walk alongside of you for 10, 15, 20 years. That's really the outlook. So it's so important. What are you trying to do by adding an associate? Number 4, how will your practice run? What I ask is this: what's the model? And I'll take it the road example, right? So when you have a solid line, what that means is you can't pass, correct? What I'll ask you is that, are you looking to bring an associate on that's going to build their own practice inside of your office? There's a lot of doctors doing that right now. A lot of doctors are like, okay, I'm going to bring an associate on. They're going to help business build in the practice. They're going to literally do everything from day one on. They'll even go out and bring in new patients. That's what we call a solid line. They've got their own practice inside of your office. Number two type of example is the broken line, where you're actually sharing patients. You're caring for patients together, and what you're doing is you're creating the model that anybody can see any of the patients, which a lot of times is more durable long-term, to be honest with you. Number five, how does this relationship end? And I'm going to be honest with you, this should be number one. How does the relationship end really needs to be the mindset of actually where you start. Is this a long-term associate? You want somebody in your practice 5, 10, 15, 20 years working alongside of you. Are you looking at a business builder? Someone who can come in, you can mentor, they're going to go do it on their own 3, 4, 5 years down the road. Or is it a person that you're going to bring alongside of you and give them the option to buy in, to become a partner? But I'm going to be honest with you, it all starts understanding what the exit strategy is, because all relationships start with this, a win-win-win. What's the win for you as the doctor? What's the win for the associate? And above all, what's the win for the patient? Because that's what we're there for. So once again, I kept it really high level, short and sweet. Hopefully you got some nuggets out of that. But if you want to dig deeper into this information, you want to learn more, please come join me on a webinar at the end of August. It's going to be August 27th at 8:30 Eastern time. This is where I'll unpack this even more, the 10 steps to successful doctor-associate process. So we're going to go into who you're going to hire, how you're going to hire, how to find the right doctor to hire. But like we talked about before, some of you reached out to me. Some of you want to take action now. So if you put down in the comments below, brainstorming session, I would love to reach out with you, actually do a breakdown and understand. I promise you 15 minutes, I can give you $15,000 in value just from my experience that I've had, your experience, and the way we've been doing this. So until next time, I'm Dr. Mark Mile with Chiro Matchmakers. Can't wait to talk to you and see you soon. Bye.